All right, let's dive into the world of cars.
Sounds good.
Today, we're going to be, taking a look at Toyota and how they became
Right.
such a giant in the industry, especially considering all the bumps in the road,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Setbacks.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking near bankruptcy, a rough start in America, and even some sticky situations, right?
It's interesting, isn't it, how Toyota didn't just survive those setbacks, but they actually used those to,
Yeah.
propel them forward.
Yeah, okay.
A masterclass in resilience.
Okay, so let's go back to the very beginning. So the founder, Kiichiro
Toyota, that's right.
with a D,
Uh-huh.
he wasn't a car guy. Believe it or not, his family was all about textiles.
Yeah.
And his father even invented the automatic loom.
Right.
But Kiichiro had a different vision. He wanted to create automobiles.
Yeah, and this is in 1930s Japan.
Right.
Which wasn't, exactly the best time or place to be starting a car company.
Right.
But, despite the challenges, in 1936, the Toyota Motor Company was born.
The Toyota Motor Company.
Yeah. And notice that shift from Toyota to Toyota.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
8 is considered a lucky number
Right.
in Japanese culture, and
I was going to say, is it?
it takes 8 strokes to write Toyota
Oh, wow.
instead of Toyota.
Okay, so 8 strokes for good luck.
Uh-huh.
Makes you wonder if they had a numerologist on speed dial back then.
Maybe.
But so they're off and running, building cars, and then bam, World War II, right?
Yeah, huge wrench in the works.
Yeah.
The war effort forced them to
Right.
shift gears, focus on
Right.
reducing trucks for the military.
Of course, yeah.
Resources were thin, so quality took a hit. And then the aftermath,
Yeah.
Japan's post-war economy was just devastated.
Devastated.
And Toyota was teetering on the brink of bankruptcy.
Really? I mean, how did they even...
I know. It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, they had employees striking. The founder resigned.
Wow.
Talk about resilience. I think it was a combination of tough choices and maybe a bit of fate,
Yeah.
They streamlined their workforce, secured a crucial loan, and then
Okay.
the Korean War broke out.
Ah, okay.
And guess what? The U.S. military needed truss.
Right.
Toyota was ready to supply, and they sent over almost 4,700 trucks to Korea.
Talk about a twist of fate.
Yeah.
So they weathered the storm, so to speak, and
Yeah.
set their sights on the U.S. market. But I've heard that
You've heard right.
the first attempt was not a victory lap. What happened?
Oh, it was a complete flop.
Oh, wow.
1958, they introduced the Toyota Pet Crown,
Okay.
and it just didn't resonate with American buyers at all.
Okay.
The name sounded odd. It lacked power for American tastes.
Yeah.
And the price tag was too high. I mean, to put that into perspective, they only sold a few thousand units over 4 years.
Wow.
Their American competitors were selling millions each year.
Ouch. So they completely misjudged
Yeah.
the market.
I think they thought they could just bring what worked in Japan over
Right.
to the U.S. and it would be, an instant success.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Well, but they didn't just pack up and go home, did they?
No, not at all. And this really highlights their commitment to what they call Kaizen, or continuous improvement.
Right.
Instead of just giving up, they took a step back and analyzed what went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they realized they needed to tailor their cars to American preferences.
Right.
More power,
Yeah.
a name that resonated,
Okay.
and a price that was competitive.
So they really needed to almost start from scratch.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole Kaizen philosophy.
Yeah.
Is that still part of their company culture?
Absolutely. It's woven into the fabric of their company culture. They
Right.
see every challenge, every mistake as an opportunity to learn and to improve.
Right.
And you can see this reflected in how they addressed their,
Yeah.
U.S. launch disaster.
Right.
They didn't just, tweak the Toyo Pet.
Yeah.
They came back in 1965 with a completely new car.
Okay.
The Toyota Corolla,
Okay.
designed specifically with the American market in mind.
Okay. So they had a setback. They applied their Kaizen philosophy and came back with a car designed,
Yeah,
specifically for American drivers.
exactly.
Did this new strategy finally pay off?
It did. It did in a big way. The Toyota Corolla marked a turning point
Really?
for them in the U.S. By the 1970s,
Yeah.
Toyota had surpassed Volkswagen as the top imported car brand
Wow.
in the U.S.
That's incredible. That's a huge comeback story.
It is.
So they finally cracked the American market, but they didn't stop there, did they?
No, they were just getting started. In the 1980s, they began manufacturing in the U.S.,
Wow.
even entered a joint venture with General Motors.
Really?
Yeah, which was a pretty big deal at the time.
Yeah. And then came the luxury brand we all know, Lexus.
Right.
Did they always have their sights set on the luxury market?
Well, it was a bold move,
Yeah.
entering a market dominated by these established European brands.
Right.
But they saw an opportunity to offer something different, a focus on reliability,
Mm.
quality, and customer service, all wrapped up in that luxury package.
Yeah.
And it paid off.
Yeah.
Lexus quickly gained a foothold in the U.S. and became the top-selling luxury brand within a decade of its launch.
So from near bankruptcy to challenging the luxury market,
Yeah.
all in a span of just a few decades. It's hard to believe how quickly they rose to prominence.
It is.
But there was another major setback lurking around the courts.
There's
Something about floor mats, right?
Yes, the floor mat incident,
Yeah.
it sounds almost ridiculous, but it turned into a major crisis for Toyota.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Okay.
It really did. In 2009, reports started surfacing about unintended acceleration in some Toyota vehicles.
Oh, wow.
The culprit, floor mats,
Really?
that could get lodged under the gas pedal,
Oh, wow.
causing the car to speed up uncontrollably.
I remember this making headlines. It wasn't just a PR nightmare.
Right.
It was a serious safety issue.
Absolutely. There were accidents, even fatalities linked to this problem.
Wow.
It turned out that some of the floor mats were too large or weren't properly secured, and in some cases, the design of the pedal itself contributed to the issue.
Right.
Toyota ended up recalling millions of vehicles,
Wow.
facing billions of dollars in fines and legal settlements.
That must have been a huge blow to their reputation, especially after,
Yeah.
building themselves up as like the reliable car company.
It was a major test of their Kaizen philosophy. Instead of denying or downplaying the issue, they took responsibility, issued a massive recall, and worked to redesign the faulty components.
Okay.
They also launched a series of internal reviews and implemented stricter quality control measures.
So they took that same learn and improve
Mhm.
approach to this crisis.
Yeah.
Did it work? Did they manage to regain consumer trust?
To a large extent, yes. Their sales did take a hit initially, but they rebounded relatively quickly.
Okay.
I think their swift response and their commitment to transparency played a big role in mitigating the damage.
It's interesting, though, because this wasn't the only recall they faced.
Right.
Didn't they have, like, issues with faulty airbags and rust problems?
Yeah, they did. Around the same time, they had issues with faulty airbags and some rust problems in their trucks.
Okay, so it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so you had this longstanding reputation
Right.
for reliability,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, you have these high-profile recalls that make people question that reputation.
Yeah.
So how did Toyota navigate this tricky situation?
Well, they doubled down on their commitment to quality and safety.
Okay.
They invested heavily in improving their manufacturing processes, increased inspections, and collaborated with external experts to review their safety protocols.
Okay, so it sounds like they were trying to
Yeah.
be proactive.
Very proactive. I mean, when you have those kinds of issues, you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
take steps to address them.
But it makes you wonder if their continued dominance in the market
Yeah.
is solely due to their,
Yeah.
engineering and business acumen, or if there's like
Yeah.
an element of luck involved.
That's a complex question, isn't it? They've certainly made strategic decisions
Right.
that have propelled their success.
Yeah.
You could argue that timing and external factors have also played a role.
Like what?
Well, for example, their fuel-efficient cars became incredibly popular during the oil crisis of the 1970s,
Right.
which gave them a significant advantage
Yeah.
over their American rivals.
Yeah, who were still focused on gas guzzlers.
Exactly.
So being in the right place at the right time.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But what about their current challenges? I mean, the auto industry is undergoing a massive transformation
Oh, yeah.
with the rise of electric vehicles and autonomous driving.
Right.
How is Toyota positioned to navigate?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
They were early pioneers in hybrid technology with the Prius,
Right.
which was a huge success.
Yeah.
But they've been somewhat hesitant to fully embrace fully electric vehicles.
Yeah, I've read that they're putting a lot of their eggs in the
Right.
hydrogen fuel cell basket.
Yeah.
Is that a risky bet?
It's definitely a different path than what most other automakers are taking.
Right.
While companies like Tesla and Volkswagen are going all in on battery electric vehicles, Toyota believes that hydrogen fuel cells offer a more viable long-term solution,
Okay.
particularly for larger vehicles and long-haul transportation.
So they're kind of going against the grain here.
Yeah, they are.
For our listeners who might not be
Yeah.
familiar with hydrogen fuel cells, could you give us a
Yeah.
quick breakdown of how they work and why Toyota is so invested in this technology?
Sure. Hydrogen fuel cells generate electricity through a chemical reaction between hydrogen and oxygen,
Okay.
the only byproduct being water.
Okay.
They offer several potential advantages over battery electric vehicles, faster refueling times, longer ranges, and they don't require the mining of rare earth minerals,
Right.
which is a major environmental concern with battery production.
Okay, so it sounds promising on paper,
It does.
but what are the downsides? Why aren't other
Yeah.
car companies jumping on the hydrogen bandwagon?
Well, there are some significant hurdles. The infrastructure for producing and distributing hydrogen is still very limited,
Right.
and the technology itself is currently more expensive than battery electric systems.
Okay.
Also, producing hydrogen can be energy intensive,
Right.
so there are questions about its overall environmental impact.
So it's a gamble.
It is.
They're betting that hydrogen will eventually
Right.
become the dominant fuel source.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's not a sure thing.
Yeah.
This brings us to a crucial question. Can Toyota maintain its position
Yeah.
as a global leader
Mm-hmm.
in the face of these new challenges? What do you think?
Tough to say. They've certainly demonstrated an ability to adapt and innovate.
Right.
But the automotive industry is evolving at an unprecedented pace, and the competition
Right.
is fierce.
Yeah, I guess it all comes down to whether they can successfully
Yeah.
transition to this new era of mobility, whether it's electric, hydrogen,
Yeah.
or something else entirely.
Exactly. And it's not just about the technology itself. It's also about understanding the changing needs
Mm-hmm.
and expectations of consumers.
That's a great point. We've been talking a lot about the company's perspective,
Right.
but what about the consumer's perspective? What is Toyota's journey, with all its ups
Yeah.
and downs? Tell us about consumer behavior and brand loyalty.
It's a fascinating case study. Despite the recalls and controversies, Toyota has managed to maintain a remarkably loyal customer base.
Why do you think that is? Is it purely down to their reputation for reliability?
I think it's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
They've cultivated a brand image that goes beyond just reliability.
Okay.
It's about practicality, value for money, and a sense of trust that's been built over decades.
But that trust has been tested, hasn't it? I mean, those recalls,
Oh, absolutely.
especially the sticky floor mat incident, that must have shaken things up a bit.
They definitely did, but I think Toyota's response to those crises played a crucial role in preserving that trust.
Yeah.
They acknowledged the problems, took responsibility, and went to great lengths to make things right.
So transparency and accountability are key
Yeah,
factors in maintaining that consumer trust, even
absolutely.
when things go wrong.
Yeah, and I think it goes beyond just addressing the immediate issue. It's about demonstrating a genuine commitment
Okay.
to continuous improvement, to learning from mistakes,
Yeah.
and making sure they don't happen again.
Which brings us back to their
It does.
Kaizen philosophy. It's not just a slogan. It's like a
It is. It's a way of thinking
way of thinking.
that permeates their entire organization.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today, from humble beginnings to global dominance.
we have.
Toyota's journey has been anything but boring.
It's been a roller coaster. It's a story of innovation, resilience, and a willingness to embrace change even when it's uncomfortable.
And as we've discussed, they're facing perhaps their biggest challenge yet as the automotive industry
Mm-hmm.
undergoes this seismic shift toward new technologies
Right.
and new ways of thinking about mobility.
Here's a final thought for you, listener. As Toyota navigates this uncharted territory, what do you think their legacy will be? Will they be remembered as the company that revolutionized the car industry not once, but twice? Or will they become a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most successful companies can falter if they fail to adapt to the changing times?
It's a question worth pondering. And as always, we encourage you to continue exploring, to delve deeper into the topics that pique your interest.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.
As always, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below.
Yeah, leave us your thoughts.
Let us know what you think.
And don't forget to check out the links in the description. You might find some useful stuff there. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.